Picture this. You're staring at your laptop screen, cursor blinking on that empty document. You've got 3 meetings tomorrow, a project due Friday, and somehow you're here watching videos about productivity instead of actually being productive. Sound familiar? If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. And you're definitely not lazy. You're just fighting the wrong battle against your brain. Hey, I'm Tony, and I spend my days diving into the psychology of why we do what we do, and more importantly, why we don't do what we know we should. Today, we're going to diagnose your procrastination in just 5 minutes. Not with some generic advice, but by understanding the 3 specific types that are actually running the show behind the scenes. Here's what's wild: most people think procrastination is just about willpower. I just need to force myself to do it. But the truth is, procrastination is your brain's way of protecting you from something deeper. And until you figure out what that something is, you're going to keep spinning your wheels. So grab a pen, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which type of procrastination is holding you back. And more importantly, what to actually do about it. Let's start with a quick reality check. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? How many productivity apps have you downloaded? How many times have you felt that familiar weight of disappointment when you realize you've spent another day avoiding what matters most? That cycle of shame you're feeling? That's not a character flaw. That's your nervous system trying to keep you safe from perceived threats. And once you understand what those threats are, everything changes. Okay, let's dive into the 3 types. I want you to listen carefully and notice which one makes you think, "Oh man, that's me." First up, clarity procrastination. This is when you're stuck because you literally don't know where to start. You're staring at this massive project, this life change, this goal, and your brain is like, "Nope, too many options, too many unknowns. Let's just scroll Instagram instead." If this is you, you might find yourself saying things like, "I don't know where to begin," or "What if I do it wrong?" or "I need to research this more first." And here's the thing, you're not being lazy. You're being overwhelmed by choice and uncertainty. I had a friend who wanted to start a podcast for 2 years. 2 years. Every time we talked, she'd have a new reason why she couldn't start. "I don't know what microphone to buy. I don't know what my first episode should be about. I don't know if anyone will listen." Classic clarity procrastination. But here's what's interesting: clarity procrastination often disguises itself as perfectionism. You tell yourself you need to plan more, research more, prepare more. But really, you're just scared of making the wrong choice. The good news? This type responds beautifully to what I call the 5-minute rule. Just pick one tiny thing, any tiny thing, and do it for 5 minutes. Not the whole project. Just one small piece, because motion creates clarity, not the other way around. Now, the second type, anxiety procrastination. This one's driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of not being good enough. If you're an anxiety procrastinator, you know exactly what you need to do, but every time you think about doing it, you get this knot in your stomach. You might catch yourself thinking, "What if I fail?" Or "What if people think I'm stupid?" Or "What if I'm not ready?" This type of procrastination feels heavier, more emotional. It's not just about not knowing what to do, it's about being terrified of what might happen if you do it. I see this a lot with people who want to change careers, start dating again, or put their creative work out into the world. They're not procrastinating because they're confused. They're procrastinating because they're scared. Here's something that might surprise you. Anxiety procrastination often affects the most capable people. The ones who've been successful before, who have high standards, who care deeply about doing things well. Your anxiety isn't a bug, it's a feature. It means you care. It means it matters to you. But here's the secret sauce for anxiety procrastination. Start with self-compassion, not self-discipline. When you notice that familiar fear creeping in, try this instead of pushing through it. Put your hand on your heart and say, "This is scary because it matters to me," and it's okay to feel scared. The third type is energy procrastination. This one's sneaky because it doesn't feel like traditional procrastination. You're not actively avoiding the task, you're just drained, exhausted, running on empty. If you're an energy procrastinator, you might find yourself saying, "I'll do it when I have more energy," or "I'm just too tired right now," or "I used to be so motivated. What happened to me?" This type often shows up after periods of burnout, major life changes, or when you're trying to do too much at once. Energy procrastination is your body's way of saying, "Hey, we need to refuel before we can perform." It's not laziness, it's biology. Your dopamine system is depleted, your nervous system is fried, and your brain is conserving energy for survival, not achievement. I experienced this hard after finishing a big project last year. I kept telling myself I was lazy, that I'd lost my drive. But really, I was just running on empty. I needed recovery, not more discipline. Here's what helps with energy procrastination. Honor your natural energy cycles. Notice when you feel most alive during the day and protect that time for your most important work. And please be gentle with yourself during the recovery process. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Most of us aren't just one type. We're usually a combination, and the type that's dominant can shift depending on what's happening in our lives. For example, you might be mostly a clarity procrastinator when starting new projects, but shift into anxiety mode when deadlines get tight. Or you might be cruising along with good energy and clear direction, but then hit a wall and suddenly you're in energy procrastination mode. The beautiful thing about understanding your procrastination type is that it gives you a roadmap for compassion. Instead of beating yourself up for being lazy or undisciplined, you can ask, what does my procrastination need right now? Clarity, comfort, rest? Let me give you a quick diagnostic tool you can use right now. Think about something you've been putting off. Now ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I know exactly what I need to do, or am I confused about where to start? If you're confused, that's clarity procrastination. Do I know what to do but feel scared or anxious when I think about doing it? That's anxiety procrastination. Do I know what to do and I'm not particularly scared, but I just feel too tired or drained to do it? That's energy procrastination. Most people discover they're fighting the wrong battle. They're trying to force themselves to take action when what they really need is clarity, comfort, or rest. Let me share something that changed my whole relationship with procrastination. I used to think it was my enemy, something to overcome or beat, but now I see it as information. It's my brain's way of telling me something important about what I need. When I'm clarity procrastinating, I don't need more willpower, I need a smaller first step. When I'm anxiety procrastinating, I don't need to push through, I need to feel safe. When I'm energy procrastinating, I don't need to force it, I need to recharge. This shift from fighting your procrastination to listening to it, that's where the magic happens. Because suddenly, you're not working against yourself anymore. You're working with yourself. Here's your homework, and it's gentle homework, promise. For the next week, just notice. When you catch yourself procrastinating, don't judge it. Just get curious. Ask yourself, what type is this? What might my brain be trying to tell me? Maybe you'll discover that you're a clarity procrastinator who needs to break big projects into smaller pieces. Maybe you'll realize you're an anxiety procrastinator who needs more emotional support and self-compassion. Maybe you'll find out you're an energy procrastinator who needs to honor your natural rhythms and build in more recovery time. Whatever you discover, please be kind to yourself. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just human, trying to navigate a world that often demands more than we have to give. The truth is, understanding your procrastination type isn't just about getting more done. It's about getting to know yourself better. It's about treating yourself with the same compassion you'd show a good friend who's struggling. So let me ask you this. What's one small thing you could do today that honors your procrastination type? If you're clarity focused, what's one tiny step you could take? If you're anxiety focused, what's one way you could be gentler with yourself? If you're energy focused, what's one way you could support your natural rhythms? Drop your procrastination type in the comments. Just one word: clarity, anxiety, or energy. Sometimes naming it is the first step toward changing it. Remember, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're just figuring out how to work with your brain instead of against it. And that's not just productive, that's revolutionary. I'm Tony, and your story is just getting deeper. Thanks for taking this journey with me today.